18 minutes. So we're going to register for 25, I think. So he bets flop with 5x and calls the river, which kind of interesting spot for him to call. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad, and against me it's uh, almost certainly not bad because I'm going to have a lot of bluffs there, but again, it's kind of a non-standard call. It looks a lot like I have an ace there when I lead that river. So, ace-3 here. It's a question between either bet and shove over a check raise, or to check. I think checking is going to be better. I'm not going to continue very well against check raises in this spot. He's just going to have a lot of flush draws, which always have 2 overs to me, obviously, so I'm actually getting it in bad. Or maybe like, I don't know, like 52% edge in that spot. Or he's going to have 10x, which just crushes me. However, here, I'm just going to bet the turn. I'm going to barrel, probably 3-barrel with the king-9. I say bet larger on the flop because of the board texture. Ace, queen, 10, he hits that a lot. Here on the turn, he's going to call me with a lot of like pair plus draws. Also here on the top left, I'm just going to jam. I think that's how I'd play my bluffs, and I would play a lot of bluffs like this. Although I'd probably say about a lot of my bluffs, I guess. So what did he call me down there with? Call me down with queen 6. So he checks a turn there with the flush draw, check calls, hits queen on the river and loses that one. She makes a check raise, just going to fold with this hand. I don't think he's got too many bluffs or anything like that. I mean, I don't know, he might have too many bluffs. He does check raise a lot, 27% so far. That's a very, very high check raise. I mean, it's kind of standard for most heads-up sit-and-go players, I guess, as an adjustment to the fact that most heads-up sit-and-go players c-bet too much. So I guess we'll probably just play these 2 games out. This is, yeah, it's a board where I'm just going to be checking a lot again. Also, I think something good worth mentioning is once you see me check those aces, he's a lot more likely to check and let me see a turn. He's also going to bet his strong hands. I think he's going to bet his queen x plus on the flop, so his checking range is probably fairly weak, and he's got to give me a lot of credit here, as he should, because I'm going to check my strong hands. So, I don't think he checks. Actually, I'm going to check the turn here. I was thinking about leading him because I don't think he checks any better spades. Maybe like, I don't know, Jack 5 with the Jack of Spades sometimes, but probably not too much. Maybe more like the 8 of Spades. But basically, I think that if I check, I can let him bluff. And if it goes check, check, um, if it goes check, check, I think I can lead the river, and he probably won't give me much respect. I think I'm just taking a stab and probably call me with a lot of one pair hands. So if he bets twice here, it's actually going to be a pretty interesting decision. But he checks. I'm probably just always good there. He checks with 4x, bets a turn. I guess it was, I don't. I guess he's probably trying to just fold like 5x or maybe like king x. Not really sure that I'd fold that to one bet though, given that he checked the flop. But I can kind of see his reason for betting. So this is a pretty bad board to see bet with 7-3. He's going to have a pretty high check raise on this board. And I continue pretty bad. When I check back, I can turn any heart, any 7, any 3, and continue really well. Also, I'm just basically just going to continue on like every turn when I check back. Same thing goes for the 6-3. Pretty bad board to see bet in general, especially with my hand. Pretty bad river here, obviously. He's been not leading the turn with his flush draws, and I'm not really sure if he leads with an 8, although I guess he probably should. He pots river again. He bets pot a lot, and it's kind of awesome. I think betting pot is a fairly good strategy, but this is a good river here. It's going to go check, check way more on the ace river. I'm very perceived to have the ace, and I would respect to lead a lot. Ace 9. Ace Queen 9 is going to be another board that I'm checking a lot on, although I don't expect him to have much, if any, Ace X at this depth. So he checks the turn there with King 9. I'd be probably leading that myself, but it's reasonable. So King 2 here is like, it's really close. We're like 75. He's been raising 75% at deeper stacks. Happy he folds there, because I don't know, not really sure if I should call or fold King 2 there, but I probably would have ended up calling, even though I did plan on not calling it at the start. He checks twice. I think that he's somewhat likely to bet the queen on the turn. He's going to bet an ace somewhere. He might bet thin with like a strong 10, like, a strong 9, like King 9, but yeah. His check on the flop and the turn there, I'm not a big fan. I think that he probably should have bet the turn against hands like mine. I'm betting this 8-2 as like a randomization based on equity. It's one of the best bluffing hands I can have in this spot, obviously being a flush draw. He check raises Jack 5-3 rainbow, which I'm not really a fan of again. I think that it's going to probably lead to him being unbalanced in some way. Here on the river, I don't really expect him to call me down with a 9 too often if I bet pretty large here. He does have a lot of ace X. I'm going to check the river actually. If I bet pot there, I need like folds like a third of the time, I think. No, wait, half the time. I need folds half the time if I bet pot. I'm just not really sure how much I do actually get. So here, just gonna shove. Just hope he has some like queer Jack 10 or something. Jack 10 or something that he just, check raises the flop with and gets himself in shit and can't really fold it. This is a pretty good spot to lead the river and turn some hands into a bluff as well. Did he check the turn there with a straight? I think he did. That's really weird. So I'm obviously calling this delay c-bet with pair and a flush draw. He has ace-x a lot, and he's going to check this river a lot. But I still have to go for the check raise. It's nice that he bets there. Sizing 390 or 420. I guess if he's calling, he's probably calling either way. So I guess I should probably make it a little bit bigger. I'm gonna check with Jack 10 here, and well, maybe it should be a bet against him if he's not checking like appropriate ranges. If he's not checking some over pairs and some strong hands, probably betting is going to be better with Jack 10 there. And if he checks ships, I can just snap it off and expect to see a draw a lot. But I mean, I don't really have much reads. I don't really know if he's checking, you know, some of the strong hands that he probably should be checking. He's probably just got a bunch of 9x, some hands like 3-4 suited, some hands like ace king, and some hands like pocket 8. So basically against that range, I'm probably going to do a lot better by betting. Here's a river spot where I kind of hate my life. I feel like it's probably too nitty to check back. Just not super sure. I guess he'll call me with some ace king stuff. Well, it's quite. This might be way too thin. Not really sure at the moment. He does fold. Be interesting to see what he had there. Probably a bet that was too thin by me. 7-6. He's opening like 63. He's probably folding a few too many hands to 3-bet shoves. So I guess I can 3-bet shove and kind of get away with it in this spot. Here my c-bet's just based on the board texture. It just smashes his out of position range. So I'm going to c-bet bigger with my range that I do c-bet with. And my c-bet range is going to be fairly polar. I guess not super polar because like I'll obviously be c-betting some like weak draws and stuff. I guess that kind of counts as polar. Not, yeah, that counts as polar. I run good here and suck out with ace-4 against ace-8, which is always nice. Looks like he checked the flop here, so I'm going to lead with my flush draw. This is kind of gross. I call this against most people, but his 3-bet range just seems really quite tight. This is a horrible river here, this 10, but I have seen him c-bet with like middle pair in this spot before. So I think that betting here is probably going to be better. I do think he's, I mean, given how I've seen him play before, he's probably c-betting his 10x. I doubt he ever checks a jack, so his range is relatively weak here. A lot of like ace-4, ace-5. Wow, that's really weird that he shoves this river. Because the board was like, I think it was like a jack 10-2 before, and he c-bet with 10-8 or something very similar to that. But yeah, I have to fold the river there with queen high. Here I think that I can probably c-bet like to a size where I can shove the turn if he flats. I think it's not a great board to c-bet though. I just think my hand is like one of the better hands for c-betting. Given that a lot of my 3-bet bluffs are just going to be like 6-4 and stuff that don't really play that good. Ace-3 here if he min-raises is an interesting spot. He folds. I guess because his min-raise is like definitely quite tight, on the tighter side for regs at least. I guess that flatting with my low offsuit aces was probably going to be best play around 20. 18 to 22 bigs, I guess. 7-5 though. I kind of like. I don't know. I guess I'm gonna fold 7-5 off. I did shove 7-6 off though, but I'm not really sure how good that is. Gonna under c-bet a little bit on the paired board here at shorter stacks. King 3 in this spot. He's. I'm gonna fold. It's quite possible that that's way too nitty though. But I mean, I'm still playing. Like even when I'm folding that, I'm still gonna be playing like 65% of hands or something. King Queen. I'm gonna 3-bet call. Pretty good hand to kind of like balance with my bluffs that I'm gonna have. I'm gonna have a fair amount of bluffs versus him. He's folded the 2 or 4 3-bets at this depth, but a fair amount deeper. This is a very bad board to c-bet on here. This King Queen 9. If he does check the turn though, I will delay c-bet. As I would with my Queen X. I'd play probably every Queen in my range this way. This is a board where I am going to be c-betting my close to my entire range on, so I will bet with my pocket jacks. And I'm going to bet smaller because of the stacks. I can bet small and still be able to shove a lot of turns. So I'm going to think